What is up, everybody? Good morning. Hobby Hotline. I think it's 211. Yep, 211. We're losing track. That's how the numbers are so high. Saturday morning also happens to be New Year's Eve. So happy New Year's Eve. Soon to be Happy New Year. I'm joined, as you can see, by Danny Black, Chris Harris, Victor Roman, and last but not least, Brody the Kid. Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Morning.
So, first thing I want to do, unfortunately, the last few days have not been kind to people passing away. One is really a hobby related, passage, but I want to definitely, say some rest in peace to a few people. Starting with, I don't have a banner for him, but prior Pope Benedict passed away this morning. Rest in peace to Pope Benedict. And someone I grew up, but the last two people we're going to talk about here were passing away. Two people I kind of grew up with. One here, Barbara Walters, passed away last night. Growing up in New York City, just the interviews she did, and the dignitaries, and she always asked a tough question, right? She never bowed down or catered. Something I'm not comparing myself to Barbara Walters, but something I try to do hobby wise. And then the next gentleman, some probably more hobbyists are very familiar, especially if you're in your 30s, 40s, or older. That's Don West, 59 years old. Uh, Chris told me he was battling a brain tumor. So Don West, we're all familiar with the late night. He also went into wrestling post his late night sales career. And 59, too young, and many of us remember him fumbling cards, knocking displays over, but also putting a lot of light on the hobby and making people maybe not aware, and trying to sell those 1987 Tops factory sets to boot. So, Chris, I'm going to start off with you. You have a story you want to share with everybody.
Yeah, I think for most of us in our generation that were there, Don West was kind of like must watch viewing only for, I don't know, the irony of it, ironic viewing. Because, you know, it was unintentionally hilarious trying to see Don West sell basically junk wax at overpriced products. But, he did it. He was entertaining doing it. I always crack up when I see the clip of Don West accidentally spilling over a box full of commons and then trying to swim through it. That was hilarious. But another thing that I want that experience was that after kind of Shop at Home went away, he had a second career with TNA Wrestling, and he was their color commentator for well over a decade. But because TNA was kind of a mom and pop operation, it was very small.
Yeah.
A lot of the folks had like additional duties as well. And Don West, in addition to being the commentator, was in charge of merchandising as well. And TNA sold a lot of merchandise under Don West. And in fact, probably sometime, I guess around 2007, 2008, I went to a TNA house show in Philadelphia. And during the intermission, out came Don West to the middle of the ring, and he was in his element. He was selling stuff, selling T-shirts, giving it the hard sell. And, to his credit, the merch tables were pretty busy at that show. So, yeah, Don West.
He was really, Chris, I don't know if you agree with this or anyone else here. We all, a lot of us know about Mr. Mint. I had my meetings, run-ins with him from mostly from a distance, but sort of the the mouthpiece of the hobby, the loud vocal guy. West was right there. He was kind of like the nighttime version of you got Mr. Mint during the day, and you got Don West at nighttime. But whether you like them or not, or the shtick, about both of these gentlemen, they brought attention to the hobby. Some people didn't like the fashion they did it in, but the fact of the matter is they brought a lot of attention and passion to the hobby. And Chris, he didn't just drop comments. I remember watching one night, and he had the '89 like upper deck set up there with the Griffey. Now at the time, that wasn't as big of a. It still was a big deal, but not like we know it today. And he literally knocked it off, and he's like, "Man, I hope that Griffey's okay." So just funny moments. He wasn't. He had some clumsiness to him, but I think that made him who he is. Victor, any remember? Did you know of him, or what your thoughts?
Well, definitely. We have the platform for sports card content here on YouTube, but before YouTube, we had Don West giving us sports card hobby content on television. Hobby legend in my eyes, just an absolute. This guy was just the salesman of all salesmen when it comes to sports cards. I remember the living in the Chicagoland area and a big Jordan collector. I remember vividly the episode of him trying to sell the Nike promo card.
Yeah.
It's a
Giving it the
rookie.
it's going to be the most
Rookies.
the rookie card, right? Yeah, it was a rookie card, and it
Maybe
was going
he's
to be
indirectly responsible for the true rookie specialist.
that thing was going to be the biggest investment for everybody. I mean, get them while they're hot, type of thing. But really, spent many years watching Don, and man, I just love his content. I'm going to have very good memories of Don for the rest of my life, anyways.
Yeah, and those. If you were in New York, you might remember a guy called Crazy Eddie. He used to sell like electronics during the commercial. He reminded me of the hobby version of Crazy Eddie. Prices are insane, and just that sort of shtick and loud, and you better not pass this up. You'll kick yourself later. You know. Brody, you're a lot younger. You're the youngest guy on the screen. Do you have any recollection? Do you know who he is?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some of the clips. Boy, are they funny. I've got 19 factory sets, 2 vending boxes, and a rack pack box, all for just $199.
It sounds like you're auditioning to replace him. Is what it sounds like right there, Brody. You got my vote. Like we need a new Don West. We got Brody the Kid late night. But yeah, gone, but obviously not forgotten, and will live on in YouTube lore, and you can catch all those clips. And I'll probably look for that upper '89 upper deck set mishap. That one stands out because I remember watching the Griffey fall. It was like slow motion, like no,
No.
but good guy. I haven't heard many bad stories. People might not like the delivery, but was advocating for the hobby. And rest in peace, Don West, and to everyone else. All right, 2022 is coming to a close. I'm, shameless plug. I've been married 24 years today. I'm waiting for my
Nice.
invite to the White House. Check the mail every day. No such luck just yet. But it's been I don't know about you guys, but man, 2022 seemed to go by quick. I guess that means they say time flies when you're having fun. Lots of news stories, right, in 2022, including almost a year ago today, January 4th, 2022. Fanatics made the announcement that they had acquired tops, and no one kind of saw it coming. I remember, I remember literally I was sitting where I'm sitting right now. I had my phone right here. It lit up with like a notification, and I read it, and I read it again, and then I opened it up because I'm reading something wrong. Maybe they're doing something together. but I know I just didn't read like Fanatics acquires Tops, and obviously we know that's exactly what it was. And we haven't seen again. It's less than a year, 361 days to be exact. So we haven't really seen the full effects. I think this is the biggest hobby story, so we'll kind of get it out of the way. Again, almost a year in. Thoughts on what we've seen so far and what we might see in the coming year with this acquisition. I don't know who wants to go first, but
Well,
I
go ahead, Chris.
I think 2023 is going to be the first year where we really see the influence of Fanatics on the Topps brand. From what I understand, it takes Topps about a year to fully develop out a product. So a lot of the products that have come out this year were developed before the purchase was announced. And I think a lot of the products that are going forward from now are going to be more Fanatics influenced. For example, we still have no idea what 2023 Topps or any other Topps baseball product in 2023 is going to be yet. I know a couple of months ago they released that prototype of the Adley Rutschman card with the design for 2023 Topps. We have no idea what else is in that product. And, generally Series 1 Topps has come out in late February. So if it's coming out in late February this year, we have no idea what the set size is. We have no idea what the insert themes are or anything else. So that says to me that maybe the new regime at Fanatics may be overhauling, maybe giving a lot of the Topps baseball brands some much needed overhauls in 2023. And that's
some facelift. Well, I will say this, Chris, like you said, they released the design for 2023 with the Rutschman example. I like it. It's better than some of the past years, and retreads of sort of kind of plain, boring designs, at least in my opinion. I think you're right. I think 2023 we're going to see more of Fanatics, fingerprints on things as releases come. Hopefully, some of the delays that we've seen due to the pandemic and supply shortages. Hopefully those, most of them are rectified, so that doesn't continue. I don't know if you saw the comment from Clay Phillips. I'll put it back here. He's concerned or thinking that it might be junk wax 2.0. We are seeing hobby Topps products in places we haven't seen prior in different stores and lids now. Lids, I get. I mean, that's obviously a Fanatics company under their umbrella, so that doesn't surprise me. But we're seeing them even in other stores that are not necessarily Fanatics owned or controlled. They're I think we're gonna see more of that direct to consumer model. I think they're even doing the Montgomery Club this year more so. There's going to be less free sets and more opportunities just to buy online exclusives through being a Montgomery Club member. Brody, Victor, any your thoughts on some of the stuff we kind of brought to the table?
Yeah. As far as let's rewind to a year ago, exactly a year ago today. I think what made the news on January 4th so big was just the anticipation that everybody had, the almost having anxiety about what's going to happen with all of these license changes. And there was so much speculation, so many questions that everybody had, so much unanswered questions, right? And there was like zero indication given by Fanatics. And then when they dropped the news on January 4th, like you, John, and probably everybody else, I mean, my mouth dropped to the ground. I just could not believe the acquisition of Topps. And it seemed like everybody was relieved, right? It just good on the hobby that they ended up making that purchase, because we were wondering. As far as 2023 is concerned, I really don't think there's going to be. Again, we're just talking our opinion, right? But I
Yep.
don't think there's going to be too much changes as far as Fanatics dipping in design elements and all of that. I think they're going to leave that up to Tops. They're going to let Tops be Tops and just let them do their thing. But at the same time, I think Fanatics is going to be re-establishing the distribution side of things. I think that's where they're going to really, as we saw this holiday season, they made sure that all of the stores were properly stocked at every store, that there was product out there for collectors. And I think that's where they're going to put their focus on in 2023, even with the um, online exclusives that we were just talking about a moment ago, which I have problems with, but that's a topic for another day. Uh, but as far as design elements, I don't think they're gonna. Maybe not this year. They might start dipping their toe a little bit more in the years to come.
Yeah, and especially when the licensing runs out for Panini and the other brands that have them, which they'll be taking over, which will be. I think you're right, Vic. 2024. I think we'll see more. I kind of echo this sentiment. I want to get this comment. Mad City Brew. My heart broke when Tops was bought by Fanatics. That was my first initial reaction to Mad City. I'm a Brooklyn kid, so I grew up with Tops as being its own entity and sort of the hobby for many years by itself, in a sense. And so when I read that on my phone, my initial reaction was exactly the same as yours. Very stunned, kind of sad, a little. I don't want to say scared. I'm not. Wasn't concerned like what was going to happen with the brand and that sort of thing. Now this far out, obviously, there's nothing we can do about it. It is what it is. I'm optimistic that maybe a fresh approach, some different ways of doing things, some new eyes might do some great things for the brand, for the hobby in general. Brody, kind of you were the Tops kid. Your thoughts when you seen Fanatics will be owning Tops.
Yeah, so I don't think we'll see too much next year. I think we'll might see a little bit, but I don't think we'll see that much in terms of just stuff that Tops can do, or if it's Fanatics like having Tops do this stuff. I think there's probably maybe like 5 products they could probably cut that they come out every year because December
Oh,
was
there's more than that.
yeah, there's probably more than that. December was jam packed with new releases, and Bowman's Best hasn't even come out yet, and that's usually the last product of the year. Um, I think like stuff like Topps 5-star, $250 for 2 cards, like a little much. Like Topps Chrome Update hobby boxes didn't really make much sense to me because the mega boxes they were like the exact same because you didn't get the guaranteed autograph and the odds were the same. So like, there's stuff like that they could do, and definitely getting those products out quicker and not shoving them all into December like we saw here. I mean, it's a good to have a good amount in December because it's holidays, good presents. Panini also, I mean, they put out a couple new sets this year. Um, Chronicles was good. They just released Capstone yesterday. Um, they did 3 and 2 earlier, which is a little bit higher end set. But yeah, we'll see. 2023 Tops will be interesting. I'm a love hate relationship with the design, but like you said, definitely better than 2022 and 2021.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, Brody. Like you said, and 2024 might be the year we really see as those license go to Fanatics and can be made under the Tops brand. We should see again brands many people miss. Chrome football, Chrome basketball,
Mhm.
finest basketball, finest football. I'm looking forward to that. Do they put a new spin on it, or do they just go back and sort of do what they did before when they last had some of those licensing? So it's going to be interesting. One of the comments in the chat room was, we're seeing more product in different places. We're also seeing prices come down. There's not that 4 to 8 times SRP we saw during the crescendo, right?
especially on
Stuff,
single cards.
yeah. And so we're seeing, now I go into Walmart and I don't open a lot of new stuff, but I will tell you this: when I go into Walmart, not for cards, but just go in there on a normal, visit, I obviously go to the card aisle. And I've never seen them stocked with cards as we've had probably in the last 6-8 months. And some of that's because they've raised the prices on blaster boxes. There's no rarely anymore for 1999. Those days are probably over. I think the company saw what happened with 1999 blaster boxes on the secondary market and said, "Hey, we're not getting any of that.
Mhm.
Let's cut into that pipeline." And so, so to go to Walmart, you should be able to grab something that you're looking for. That's Walmart or Target, if they still do that, will carry. It's just going to cost you those in more than the 1999 you used to, or
The
you
7
were
packs
used
for
to.
$20 is over. It's now 7 for $24.99. Which,
Yeah, so, and
you know,
Target's not as
yeah,
bad. They raised it a little bit, but Walmart, blasters are like 35 for top of the
$35.
roll.
I've
That's
seen them
Blasters at
35
Target, I think,
bucks.
are 25. So that's not
Yeah,
as bad.
yeah,
And they're
and I
moving.
think we're
They're mo-
so. Question here. What do we think with vintage in 2023? I'm a vintage guy. Um, I think some things will still, come down in price depending on, macroeconomics, right? What's happening inflation wise. But, there's some vintage cards. That's one of the reasons I love vintage, and is kind of, recession proof or inflation proof, right? And cards that really don't get go unscathed despite what's going on in real world economics. But I think certain prices will continue to come down. I'm looking forward to Chicago getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. The end of July, where I try to buy 2 to 3 cards off my want list, which is graded Hall of Fame rookies. A couple bigger ones at the National. I think maybe I'll be able to get them, hopefully, right? Maybe a little bit more affordable by then. We'll have to see, right? The hobby news cycle changes daily, so who knows? From this week to the next. Let's talk about other news stories. Obviously, Tops was the big one. One that sticks out to me, guys, and it's not a good one. Was I know robberies and burglaries have always occurred since since the age of time, but the last year or two, with the prices, during that boom, more people paying attention to cards. We've seen a lot of stores get broken into. We saw a lot of like stolen cards at shows, especially bigger ones, the National included. That's a story I'm hoping we see less of in 2023. As a former card store owner myself, it just seemed like every day you'd go to one of the hobby news sites and there was video footage, right, of another person breaking into a store and taking stuff and leaving. And it's just too bad. People work hard to build their business, and someone's going to come at 2-3 in the morning and hurt some honest people trying to make a living. And so I hope we see less of that. Any personal, any things you want to see less of or more of as we go into 2023?
I think one thing was definitely this year we saw Whatnot make their presence at the National.
yes.
Um, and there's been a lot of controversial stuff going on there with, YouTubers making videos and just people on there. Um, they need to do a better job with their customer service because there were a lot of stories. Oh, I got all my cards shipped, but I didn't get this one of one. But then the owner would say they shipped it, but they did it. But then they said they have to talk to the owner, but they can't talk to Whatnot. I feel like if you could talk to Whatnot about it, they should be able to tell that breaker, hey, you pulled this 101, you saw in the random that, or for the personal box, that it was for this guy. Why does he not have his card? And if they don't have an answer for it, you gotta like suspend them or something, because these 101s that are getting pulled and nobody's getting, it's, that's their card.
So Brody wants more accountability. I'll second that every day of the week. Right? We've seen mistakes on platforms where there's no repercussions. One breaker stands out in particular, but it's not just one breaker. We've seen other breakers go answer their door all of a sudden while a card mysteriously disappears, and we, these break. Some of these bad breakers are becoming magicians with sleight of hand and that sort of thing. We've seen. Listen, we're talking about mistakes. Everyone's made them, right? You got PSA with the backlog. You got Tops with the Chrome, faux pas, forgetting to put certain cards in the Chrome product. Then another mistake people are pointing out that might be Fanatics, involvement there. I don't know, mistakes, a mistake. Chris, I mean, something you're looking forward to or not looking forward to
Well,
in the year ahead.
I want to go back to 2022 and what the big story was. For me, the big story was the sheer amount of venture capital that was just sloshing around the hobby in 2022. All these new startups, all these companies that I never heard of putting up booths at the National. How many of them are going to survive? Probably most of them not. I'm a big believer in history going in a cycle, and that history tends to repeat itself every 20 to 30 years. And I tend to believe that 2022 will be a bit of will be looked back as a bit of a transition year in the hobby, a lot like 91 and 92 were. We were coming off of this peak that kind of began around 18 or 19, but really accelerated during the pandemic. And 2022, especially the latter half of 2022, we're starting to see the hobby plateau a little bit. And maybe that's a good thing that we have a bit of a downturn in 2023. So that's something that I think my prediction for 2023 is I think the hobby is not going to be as big as it was the last couple of years. I think a lot of the companies that set up in Atlantic City for the National won't be setting up in Chicago next year. And I think a sense of normalcy coming back in 2023. So that's my prediction for 2023.
Yeah, I'm going to touch on that, but I want Victor to chime in here. Same deal, Victor. What you want to see or don't want to see, and I'll ask you a question: does the rookie card dilemma get solved in 2023?
I don't think so. The rookie card definitely needs reform, but it's not going to happen anytime soon. As far as the question is concerned, what we'd like to see less of or more of in 2023. And I think we touched on it a little bit. I think Brody brought up like more transparency, more accountability, that type of thing. And what I've been noticing is for a long time, there just seems to be this thick wall between manufacturers and the hobby per se. There's just, and we scream, talk to us, be transparent, explain to us what's going on and that sort of thing. And I have been seeing card manufacturers start to do that, especially Tops. They have been a little bit more vocal as far as issues or what happened and that sort of thing. But then there's a segment of the hobby that just attacks them as soon as they give an explanation or they are being a little bit more transparent or a little bit more vulnerable, and we just like attack them. And I would like to see more of transparency, by the manufacturers to Tops, I would say kudos to you. Keep on doing that, even though you are getting backlash, but at the same time telling the hobby, hey, let's not burn bridges here. Give them a chance to talk. They're trying to be transparent. They're trying to be vulnerable. Allow that to happen. Allow that relationship to form, and let's not attack as soon as they say something.
But I think we saw it with Topps Chrome when they messed up with the short prints this year. They came out once they realized it was wrong, and they tried to do the best they could. Mistakes are going to happen, and they did the best that they could do. Obviously, we don't want it to happen again because
Right.
it stunk for breakers and for people that bought boxes. But they did what they could do. They at least addressed it, and in other years we didn't see that.
Right.
Yeah, but we could argue again. It's just opinion. They kind of
Yeah, but
compound a mistake with. Here's the but right. Then they made the silver packs, and then it became like, did those silver packs make it into the right people's
Right.
hands, or did it become a money making opportunity again for maybe a breaker or someone who's not being fair or tracking who should really get that silver pack. I don't know what else Tops really could have done. So in their defense, that probably was the only thing they could do. But it sort of led to it kind of compiled an original mistake into another dilemma where these things were getting kept by certain people instead of being redistributed to where they needed to go. So piggybacking off something Chris said too, where you mentioned, Chris, we're going to see some of these upstart new companies that we saw at the National Atlantic City. You're saying we won't see them set up in Chicago. I agree, but I'll do an addendum. I think some won't survive. There's just too many people competing in that space where they all can't make it. But we're going to see, I think, what we saw a lot in 2022, in 2023, and that's partnerships and team ups. And I think we'll see that even at the national with people sharing spaces. We saw a little bit of that in 2022. I think we'll see that in Chicago. People will, hey, instead of getting a whole booth myself, we're going to combine with this other company and split this booth and both be able to attend, keep our costs and overhead down, and that sort of thing. I think we'll see that not just at the national, but I think we'll see that what we're seeing now, right, with Loop and PSA and PWCC and SGC kind of doing these partnerships and agreement. I think we'll continue to see those as the years move along, especially with the way pricing is and that sort of thing. So, any thoughts on the partnerships and the team ups, if you will?
I mean, the hobby reminds me a lot of Silicon Valley at the turn of the millennium. I mean, so many startups, just not all of them are going to make it. Not all of them should make it either, to be honest.
Yeah, and Chris, we've seen that already, right? We've seen sort of the demise of Star Stock, which came on very strong in their initial when they launched, right? We don't hear about them anymore. Another thing I want to keep close eyes on is, Beckett's got new leadership now. I think most people will admit when it comes to the grading space, they've lost the most traction. Whatever you want to rank them, they've lost the most footing where others have sort of either passed them or depends who you talk to. I put them almost fourth now, but they have some new people in place. We just had Dr. Beckett on a Card Mensch episode. He talked about he was very candid and he's curious as I am to see what they can do to get a foothold back in the hobby. They're going to launch a new online price platform, kind of app, if you will, where you scan the card. They're getting into that. There's no shortage of folks on that venture with card scanning and pricing built in. We're going to see. There's some that I know I can't mention by name that haven't even launched yet. They're in the process launching. So all these rockets are about to take off in the card scanning pricing space. And like Chris said, they're not all going to make it. There's no way that 40 different price card scanning pricing apps or websites are going to survive. It's just there's only so much pie, and so it's going to be interesting.
Does Derek Jeter really need to own a grading company? Come on.
I don't think he needs to own anything other than his bank account. But yeah, there's another one. What is it? Arena.
Something like that.
Yeah, and it's funny. This will show you how old I am. I hear Arena. Some of you folks might remember the old Arena holograms back, I believe it was 91 with Frank Thomas and Ken Griffey Jr. I still have those.
Were those the one that had like the ticket with the serial number that was like?
Yeah, and they had some random sign ones.
Yeah,
they had some signature ones, and so I still have some of those for nostalgia. So yeah, we're seeing even in the storefront, right? We're seeing roadshow cards kind of make a franchise out of card stores, right? They're in Texas, New York, California. I think more locations to come. We've seen Santiago. We've seen other stores open a second location. I just worry as a former card store owner. Like, card stores are great. I love them. I think certain areas don't have enough, but I just worry that, opening up that many, it's like anything else, right? Is there too many shows? Is there too many stores? The market, it's not really for us to answer. The market will bear that out, whether they make it, pay their bills, and obviously want to be in the black and making money for the proprietors. So it's going to be an interesting 2023. Jeter, but to answer your question, Chris, he probably doesn't need to own. Probably doesn't need to do anything the rest of his life if he didn't want to. I think he, just like a lot of people, saw all the card headlines, right? The sports card headlines, and say, "Hey, how do I get a little bit into this?" And it's well back. They've gotten, that's the other thing we've seen a lot of in 2022, right? Investment seed money. These venture companies putting money into. What's going to happen, unfortunately, is people are going to lose money, because if you put it, obviously, it's like stocks. You put your investment into the wrong company and they go belly up, you're going to lose your investment. So we're going to see some of the ripple,
especially if you put that investment at the plateau of the hobby, so at the top.
Yeah, let's hit a couple comments here. I think we see ComC continue to grow and outperform expectations. That's probably make Rich Klein work a little harder.
Along.
Yep. So it'll be interesting. I don't know. The Arena Jeter company doesn't do much for me, but we'll see if they, those are tough waters to swim in when it comes to grading. When you got your PSAs, your SGC, CSG has made a lot of strides, and Beckett's clawing and trying to get back up on their perch. And you got Tag with the AI grading. I just think, people don't realize there's probably 200 different grading companies. We just talk about 4 or 5 because those are the more prevalent and viable ones.
Those are the credible ones.
Yeah. Then you got 195 other ones that you could go to. It's just it's crazy. It never fails. I'm at a show and someone will bring cards for me to look at, to buy, and there'll be a graded card in there, and I don't even know who this company is. Like, the slab is different, and I'm like, it's not even your GMAs. It's all sorts of different ones I've never heard of. So I just don't know how they all make it. Now, if it's in someone's basement where the overhead's low, they'll probably last forever. But if they have a lot of overhead, then we'll see. So on a personal level, guys, with with either your shows or your content or cards that you're looking to acquire, What are you looking to? Was there a card or something you missed in 2022 that you're still looking for in 2023? And everyone in the chat, feel free. I'll share them on the screen. Card, if you want to put out there that you're looking for it, I'll share that with everyone else. Chris, anything? I know you do some of those obscure sets. Is there one you're really trying?
I'm still trying to dust off those early '90s Donruss Elites.
Yeah.
The real tough cards are the three autographed cards. I came across earlier this year the '92 Elite Cal Ripken's signature card, which was serial numbered to 5,000, but the autograph on it was faded, was starting to fade away. I think he signed his cards in blue Sharpie, and these were like faded away to almost like a blackish gray, which I think to me says it was probably left out in the sun a little too long. So the guy went at $300 for it. And I don't know if I'm ever going to find that card ever.
Are you trying to get like the super run, Chris? You're just trying to get everyone?
The Elites.
You know how close you are?
3 signatures. So
you're pretty close then?
I'm pretty close. I think I only need like one and the signature to complete the 91 set, and a couple of more to complete the 92. So, but I don't have any of the 3 signatures. So I think it was Sandberg in 91, Ripken in 92, and Will Clark in 93. Because you just don't see them.
Yeah. Well, if you have them, Chris is your guy. Contact Chris.
Yeah.
Victor, I know you were doing.
So.
Victor, I know you were doing your Clemente run. Where are you at? Is that still a goal to add to in the coming year?
Yeah, definitely. I've got 13 of the 20 cards in the registry. There was some that eluded me this year, but the pricing this year was a little high in my opinion, and I decided just to pick up what I can that is affordable, and the rest of it I'm just going to hold off, and hopefully here in 2023 I'll have a chance to pick up a few more. But I would like to officially interrupt this program for a recent pickups. This is a sports card show.
All right, I'm trying to think if I have any. Oh yeah, I do have one right up your alley.
You got one. All right, let me see.
I literally just came yesterday. It's the first finest basketball set. It's not a crazy expensive card. You might know this guy, Victor, being in Chicago. It's the 93, 94 finest Jordan. I can't tell you how many. It's not a rare card. It's a PSA 8. I've had this card a lot. I've sold it a lot. And then I just I'm like, I want to get it. It's the first I heard someone here's a debate for you. I've heard that, not me. You'll never get this argument from me. I heard someone call this his finest rookie.
There you go. Well, they're all right rookies, don't you know, John?
It's right up your alley, Victor.
They're all rookie cards. My most recent pickup is Manny Machado rookie card, true rookie card in the Topps Heritage. Picked this one up in a PSA 10. Great price. I tell you, I've been studying a lot of stats here lately. Manny Machado is on the road to the Hall at only 30 years old. If you look at the numbers this young man has and the hardware he has, man, this guy, this is the type of stuff. I don't like prospecting for rookie players. I like prospecting for Hall of Famers.
Under the radar guys.
Under the radar guys. And when you do the homework and you start studying the numbers, it's like, wow, this kid, I mean, sky's the limit if he keeps his head on straight, right?
Yeah. No, nice pickup. PSA 10, can't go wrong there. Brody.
That's nice 2016 Topps signature of
Sell it, Brody.
What I want to know is why is that in arm's reach? I think that's
honestly, I don't know either.
Oh, that's funny.
But in all serious notes, the Daily Rip kind of counts as my pickups because I get to choose what pack I want to open. And the other day we pulled this Sage Artistry Bryce Young autograph, number to 10. That was
There you
pretty
go.
cool.
That's a good one. I'm gonna put some of the comments on the screen. What other people are looking for. It's a great opportunity if someone might see it, and be able to help you out. So let me try not to miss any here.
Chris
Logan Ward, if 1989 Winner's Circle, Lee Petty. So if anyone's got that one, I got a Will Clark auto from my box my mom bought me Tuesday morning way back. Paige and Dinabini, working on a 73 tops in 2023. Got the Ron Say rookie already. Yeah, right. There's another guy on there with the Ron Say, but might not have never heard of him. Ron Say the Penguin. What else? John Miller. Looking for 55, 56. Willie Mays in the centered PSA 6. I think I waited too long. That sounds like me and a guy named Jackie Robinson. I waited too long, too. Don't feel bad, John. It must be something with guys named John. What else we got? Stoops Curiosities need 65, 67 tops for my set. Yes, the big ones like Seaver, Carew, and Robinson. And a comment from Pino Man too. He said set collectors are a dying breed. I sort of I'm the poster boy for that because I used to be a set collector, guys, and as my room got tighter and tighter with other things and cards, I've sort of gotten away from set collecting. I sold a lot of my sets, or gave some away. The junk wax era sets. I gave them the kids or Children's Hospital. So I really don't do sets too much more. The closest I'll get to that is if I buy a set like near complete. Like I bought a near complete 1938 Churchman's boxing. Missing a few cards. Now I'll try to get those cards, but smaller sets. I'm more of a small set guy. Maybe I like an insert set out of a newer product, and I'll put that together. But my days of putting the 792 card sets together, or even buying them, the only big sets I'm even looking over on my shelf that I still have. There's an 89 Upper Deck, obviously for obvious reasons, and some of the Montgomery end of the year full stamp sets.
Hey John.
Chris
didn't get a chance to show his card.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Well,
I have a show and tell here.
Go ahead.
Kind of related to both my Donruss Elite addiction and our friend Don West. And this is an Elite 1993 Elite Dominator of Fred McGriff. And the thing is that the Elite Dominators were only available on Shop at Home. And the way they were distributed was you got one of these that was shrink wrapped to a box of 1993 Donruss. It was a way for Donruss to blow out their excess inventory. And for the low price of $99.99, you can get
the whole
an
set.
Elite Dominator with your...
is that a rookie card top loader? What do you got there?
Yeah, and this is what I wanted to show because this is how this was packaged. They came in an envelope that was shrink wrapped to the box. When you pull it out, it came out in this custom TL that said Elite Dominator.
Very nice.
And I had to get this because it's still in the original top loader. So
now, Chris, got
Is it yellow?
No, it's
How's
not
that
yellow.
top loader not yellow?
That's true.
Yeah. Not yet.
I think that's a fake new top loader made to look like the original.
Hey, Chris.
There's no way that's not yellow. That thing, you had that in like darkness.
Hey, Chris, I have found, and I have a few Dominators myself, but I have found over the years the gold foil right above the word Dominator seems to always fade away on those or scratch off. Have you seen that on your end? Have you come across that a lot?
Not really.
No? Okay.
I have a number of... I pulled out what Dominators that I have. And
you're building the set?
Yeah, of course. and not really.
Are they holding up
seeing-
good on your end?
They're holding up really good on my
Okay.
end.
All right.
The thing is that the green border, it's almost like a prism mosaic style border.
Yeah, that set was
These
years ahead of
ship
its time,
easily,
man.
But yeah.
Years ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
Pepino
and anyway,
Man.
it was a way for Donruss to blow out their inventory of excess wax boxes. You got one of these, $100 for a box and a card, or $89.99 without the card. So
those were a
somebody
big
paid
chase card, man.
$100 for this card. So, but I found it for like $5.
There you go.
There you go. Bad, bad
and there are
ROI
some
there.
autographs in it too. So.
Right.
Pepino Man wanted to add Pepino Man hunting to put the whole Mantle run together. He said excluding the 52. Bo, 1 million Cubs, says he should have his 1 million Cubs by the National in 2023. I've tried to talk him into starting a 1 million Mets once the 1 million Cubs are complete, but no, he said no. But we got JK in the green room. Going to bring him on. John Keating. What's going on?
Bo will not complete his 1 million Cubs by 2023 National.
John Keating says
Or,
John's going to try to
put
buy all
some
the
action
Cubs
on
up
this,
before
John,
him.
or-
Yeah, the over under is 920,000. I'm taking the under.
It's turned into a gambling show.
Speaking of gambling, you hear about Drew Brees?
No,
Drew Brees was pimping a gambling site, and then he forced Purdue into hiring him as an assistant coach for the bowl game, and then apparently he screwed everything up, and they had to stop taking bets on the bowl game because you can't be a coach and be pimping.
conflict of interest.
Yeah. So way to go
I
there,
did-
Drew Brees. Way to screw it all up, betting on the Tupperware.
I
bowl
knew
or
about
whatever
the
heck
coaching thing. I knew
Yeah.
about the coaching thing. I didn't know that
Yeah.
that happened where they had to take the game off the board because of the affiliation.
These aren't rocket surgeons. These athletes that we admire, folks. So don't take any advice from them. All right, just do. They may know how to throw a ball down the field, but they certainly probably can't tie their own shoes.
You sound like Charles Barkley. I'm not a role model.
Yeah, that's terrible. Terrible, Drew Brees.
Well, John, you're here. I know we kind of was early in the show. We talked about some of the top stories from 2022, things you're looking forward to or not looking forward to in 2023. And anything you want to? We got 7 minutes left.
Well, I'm not going to take up all 7 minutes, but I'm the most shocking story of 2022 for me was I saw Brody didn't have a hat on the other day, and I was wondering if he'd gotten a hair transplant or yeah, it's the first time I saw him without a hat on his.
Just changing it up.
Yeah, is it a wig or was it your real hair?
Oh, it was my real hair.
Asking for a friend because I might be in the market for a piece like that. And Chris, that shirt. What shirt are you wearing there? Is that a Bimbo shirt?
No, it's the Artisano.
Is that their new sponsor, or is that how long have they been there?
It's the same sponsor. They have different sponsors for the home and the away jersey.
Gotcha.
Sara Lee Artisano bread owned
what
by.
do you think of? Sara Lee owns Bimbo.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think about owns Sara Lee? So.
What do you think about Ronaldo? Have you guys talked about him? Signing in Saudi Arabia, $75 million.
From what I understand, he almost went to Sporting Kansas City.
That's 75.
They're so close. They're so close.
That's 75. Imagine how far that 75 million would go in Kansas City, man.
Apparently, he doesn't like barbecue. That's why he went to Saudi Arabia.
Not enough burn ends in the world to get him to go to Kansas.
Yeah, you guys over there in America like to talk about how money gets thrown around. This guy's getting paid $75 million a year to play the football in a country that's got zero soccer history or whatnot. So
the best part about it is that he's also serving as an ambassador to Saudi Arabia's 2030 World Cup bid.
Right.
You know what other nation's bidding to host the 2030 World Cup? Portugal.
Oh, well, there you go. What a guy, huh? Yeah. And then Ziggy puts in there the Pele pass, which is interesting, right? This is a guy who was on the world stage And there's some cards out there, some expensive ones, but obviously not a huge collecting portfolio for him. But wow, the guy changed the sport. And as many soccer deniers as we have out there in the world, screw you, or in this country, but he really made soccer a world sport, meaning there was people that played soccer in Brazil, people played soccer in England, people played soccer in the Netherlands, but he made it a global thing where you can go from country to country to play, and really opened up the sport.
Well, Jed, I've heard him called the Michael Jordan of soccer, football. You agree with that? You think he's
well? First of all, I'm an unabashed Messi GOAT advocator. I think Messi's the greatest ever because Messi can pass and score and do all that stuff. With that said, you may be surprised to find that on a global scale, I'm pretty sure Kobe Bryant may have done more for basketball than Jordan, just because I have real, I was with my son at the Bird's Nest in Beijing, the big Olympic stadium. And we said hello to people. And the first thing they said back was Kobe Bryant. And it was funny. It was the most, it was funny, but my son laughed at me. He was like, why are they saying Kobe Bryant to us? Kobe did a lot on as the NBA grew internationally, but again, I think Jordan's the greatest basketball player ever. So Jordan GOAT, Messi GOAT. We got that out of the way. What do you want next from me?
Well, hey, listen, you're a vintage guy. There was a comment in the chat about, what's the outlook for vintage in 2023. A lot of people commented that prices will continue to come down on most cards. This is your right in your wheelhouse. Your thoughts?
Well, they have come down, but it's not, there haven't been drops, right? It's more of a gently laying down. My kids used to throw stuff in the foyer from the second floor. That was a drop. They've come down, but they're not going to be as susceptible to, steroid allegations like Tatis Jr. or other stuff like that. It's not it's not like a day trading kind of situation. Prices come down. We love it. Most of us love it who collect vintage for sure. But there's always going to be a correction, right? Where's the top, where's the bottom? You don't know until you have perspective, and we'll see what happens. But I'm not an investor. I'm a collector, so I'll still buy my cards, and I'll still do all right because I'm not keeping score. Truth be told.
Yeah, I think the high grade vintage is still going to be on the upward trend. Your 7s, 8s, 9s, and that. But the correction, we've already seen a correction with vintage, haven't we? They have come down some. Yeah.
But I saw somebody talking about the Clemente rookie today on Twitter saying it's a lot less than it was, but it's still uncomfortable territory for some people as well.
Yeah. Hey, here's Logan. I like this. He says Michael Jordan is the Pele of basketball. Probably better way to put it.
Logan used to babysit Pele, so Logan would know.
Taught him everything he knows.
Yeah, he was his first coach.
So, well, guys, we're first off, we're coming up against the top of the hour. I just want to say, thanks to everyone out there who download, listen, watch this show live. Thank you to Bench Clear for allowing us to bring it over on Saturday mornings a couple months ago. Again, thank you to everyone out there. I'll give everyone, Brody, we'll start with you. I know you got a live rip tonight for New Year's Eve. So go ahead and tell everyone about that.
We're calling it Brody TK's New Year's Rippin' Eve. So I have a box of 2021 Mosaic. Check out my posts on Instagram and my tweet on Twitter. We're going to be doing a divisional break. So 6 spots will be given out, and they'll be announced at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And then we will be doing some other giveaways during the break.
Anyone else? You got anything? What's your New Year's plans or New Year's Eve plans into New Year's?
I'm going to go to the Bunt Cake store and get some Bunt Cake. And then you can catch me at Bridge and Walnut waiting for the R46 bus from SEPTA at 3 p.m. today. Wave, and I'll say, hey, girl, back to you.
Victor, Chris?
Me and my wife decided for the first time in 20 years, we're going to stay home tonight.
Nice.
There you go.
Beats falling asleep on somebody else's couch, Victor, right?
Chris, any big plans?
I just don't get New Year's. It's just a day on the calendar. What happened? What are we celebrating?
Yeah.
Big deal.
Well, we're celebrating our new diets that we're all going on starting tomorrow. We're going to be better and all the resolutions we make and don't keep and all that good stuff. But again, for me, it's my 24th wedding anniversary. We're going to do an early dinner and then come home and watch TV and have a few beverages and not to be, about 5 years ago, we were rear-ended by someone under the influence. So we try to get in early. My wife's a little bit sketchy, but understandably so. And so we'll go early dinner and then watch some TV. What, Brody, you're showing off your hoodie.
Go Bulldogs. Watch them crush Ohio State.
Yeah, wow. I think that will. I do think Georgia's probably going to win the whole thing, which, you're from Chicago, Brody.
Yeah, I got history, though, with Georgia, my family.
These kids don't. This is the Xbox generation, ESPN 30-second clips. They don't know anything about it. They don't even flip the other side of the cards over to look at the back, John.
I just thought he was bandwagon, but he's got Notre Dame in his backyard.
I know.
True.
So,
I know. Yeah.
All right, guys, everyone out there, thank you. Hey, be safe tonight. Be well. Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you again for everything this past year. Bench Clear for allowing us to be on this on Saturday morning so more of you can hear and see us. And I guess I'll say it. We'll see you next year.
Keep on rocking.